The explosion came without warning. A thunderclap of fire and twisted metal that tore through Nexus Station's outer ring like a god's angry fist. Marcus Cole was checking pressure seals when the world became chaos. He hit the deck as the blast doors screamed shut, emergency protocols sealing the cargo section with merciless efficiency. Through the ringing in his ears, he heard screaming. Not human screaming. 3 aliens he'd been escorting to the diplomatic wing were trapped with him. Smoke curled through the frozen air as emergency lights painted everything in bloody red. Marcus pushed himself up. Somewhere beyond the sealed doors, Nexus Station was dying. Marcus found them huddled near a shipping container, each alien confronting their own biological nightmare. The Lhasa Deep Current's bioluminescent markings flickered erratically, terror made visible in pulses of dying blue light. Her gills were already beginning to dry in the thin, cold air. Beside her, Kron Mountainheart's massive form trembled, and Marcus realized with shock that the Goliath was shivering. Heat bled from his rocky skin in visible waves. And Velix Prime stood apart, enormous black eyes unfocused, their telepathic mind already calculating odds that Marcus didn't want to hear. The cold was coming. He could feel it in his bones. Marcus moved through the wreckage with practiced efficiency, his mind automatically cataloging threats. Temperature dropping, -40 within hours. The oxygen recyclers were damaged, sparking fitfully. 72 hours of breathable air, maybe less. The nearest emergency beacon was 2 kilometers away through maintenance tunnels that were probably frozen solid. He felt Velix Prime's telepathic voice slide into his mind like cold water.
17% survival probability.
The Etherean announced, their mental tone utterly flat.
Factoring in species-specific vulnerabilities, the Aquarii will expire first. The Goliath second. You and I might reach.
Marcus turned.
What's the probability if we work together?
Marcus didn't wait for Velix Prime's answer. He was already moving, stripping thermal blankets from emergency lockers, rationing the water bottles he found for Thalassa. The aliens watched him with varying degrees of confusion.
Human, what are you doing?
Marcus paused long enough to meet each of their eyes. The Aquarii's frightened bioluminescence, the Goliath's proud confusion, the Etherean's clinical observation.
I'm keeping us alive. We move toward the beacon in 6 hours. Until then, we conserve heat and prepare.
He turned back to his work.
Nobody dies on my watch.
They built the shelter from shipping containers, Marcus directing while Crone provided the muscle. The Goliath's hands were too large for delicate work. He crushed a thermal seal trying to help, then stood back, humiliated. Thalassa's bioluminescence became their only light as station power failed completely. In that ghostly blue glow, Velix Prime reached out with their mind, curious about this human who worked with such relentless purpose. They touched Marcus's consciousness and recoiled. Grief, determination, and something else, something burning and terrible that the Etherean had no name for.
What happened to you?
Marcus didn't answer. He just kept working. Marcus worked through the first night without sleeping. The others huddled together for warmth, an unlikely tableau of 3 species who had never touched, now pressed close against the killing cold. Thalassa's light pulsed slowly, almost rhythmically. Kron's rumbling breaths shook the shelter walls. Velix Prime remained awake, watching Marcus with those unblinking black eyes. When station dawn came, a pale gray lightening of the frozen viewports, Marcus finally stopped. His hands were shaking, though not from cold.
We move in 1 hour.
He announced.
Drink what water you can, Thalassa. Kron, stay close to me. Velix Prime.
He paused.
Keep calculating, but keep walking too.
The maintenance tunnels were a frozen hell. Frost coated every surface, walls, floor, the pipes that lined the ceiling, transforming the passage into a crystalline throat that seemed to swallow them whole. Marcus led, his breath misting in clouds that froze on his collar. Behind him, Kron's movements grew sluggish, each step a visible effort. The cold was penetrating his rocky hide in ways it never should have.
Kron,
Marcus called back.
talk to me.
I am functional.
The Goliath rumbled, but Marcus saw the hairline cracks appearing on his forearms, spreading like dark lightning across gray stone. The mountain was fracturing. Marcus stopped and unwrapped his thermal blanket, the last protection between his human skin and the killing cold. Without a word, he draped it over Kron's massive shoulders. The Goliath tried to refuse.
Human, you need...
I run hot.
Marcus lied, his teeth already chattering.
Species trait. We're basically portable heaters.
Behind them, Velix Prime's telepathic voice slid into Marcus's mind.
Your core temperature is already dropping. This action is statistically unwise.
Marcus didn't respond. He just kept walking. The Etherean watched him go, fascinated despite themselves. They had never encountered a being who so consistently chose suboptimal survival strategies, and somehow kept surviving. Hour 30. They rested in an abandoned junction, a crossroads of frozen pipes and dead machinery. Thalassa was dying. Her bioluminescence had faded to almost nothing, her gills cracking in the dry air. She needed water. Water they didn't have. Marcus looked at the ice coating the pipes. Then he pressed his bare hands against the frozen surface and held them there. Kron watched in horror as the human skin turned blue, then white, then something beyond color. Ice melted against Marcus's palms, dripping into a container.
Why do you damage yourself for her?
The Goliath rumbled. Marcus's answer came through gritted teeth.
Because she needs it.
Thalassa drank. The water was barely enough, but her dying bioluminescence flickered, then strengthened, blue light washing through the junction like hope made visible. She looked at Marcus's destroyed hands, white and bloodless, the skin cracked, and something broke inside her. Aquarii don't cry. Their biology doesn't allow for it. But in that frozen junction, Thalassa Deepcurrent wept, salt water streaming from her eyes in defiance of everything her species knew about themselves. She reached out with webbed fingers and touched Marcus's frozen hands, her tears falling on his ruined skin. Kron stood motionless. In 300 years, he had never seen an Aquarii cry. Hour 40. Velix Prime had been calculating in silence, and now they spoke.
Optimal survival strategy requires abandoning the Aquarii. She consumes excessive resources and slows our progress. Without her, survival probability increases to 43%.
The words hung in the frozen air. Marcus moved before thought, his cracked hands closing around the Etherean's thin neck.
I watched my whole team die on Callisto.
he snarled, his voice barely human.
Because someone made that calculation. We left the wounded behind to save the rest. None of us made it anyway.
His grip loosened.
I can't do that again.
He released Velix Prime and collapsed, 40 hours of exhaustion finally breaking through. Hour 48. Marcus was fading, hypothermia and exhaustion stripping away everything but the will to move forward. Thalassa became his anchor. She sang Aquarii healing songs, her voice weaving through the frozen air like warm water, like sunlight through ocean depths. The music seemed to push back the cold itself. Crone finally understood his purpose. He positioned his massive body as a windbreak, placing himself between the others and the killing cold. His hide cracked further with each gust, stone fracturing like old ice.
Goliaths believe strength is about enduring. I was wrong. Strength is about what you endure for.
Hour 60. The observation dome opened before them like a frozen cathedral, stars wheeling beyond the crystalline viewport. The emergency beacon stood at the far end, their salvation, their impossible goal. But the control panel was frozen solid, encased in ice that Marcus Cole's damaged hands couldn't break. Crone Mountainheart's massive fingers were too large for the delicate controls. Thalassa, Deep Current's web digits lacked the precision. Only Velix Prime could operate it. But the beacon was exposed, away from the group's huddled warmth. The Etherean calculated. Leaving the huddle meant near certain death. Staying meant everyone died slowly. For the first time, Velix Prime faced a choice that mathematics could not make. Velix Prime made a choice that defied all logic. They stepped away from the warmth, their gray skin immediately frosting as the cold embraced them. Each step was agony, their fragile form never designed for this abuse. They reached the beacon, trembling fingers finding the controls, and activated the signal that would save them all. Then they collapsed. Marcus found strength he shouldn't have had. He crawled across the frozen floor, his body failing, and wrapped himself around the Etherean's fragile form.
Why?
Velix Prime whispered telepathically, their mind fading.
Because you're one of us now.
Marcus answered.
And we don't leave our people behind.
In that moment, Velix Prime experienced their first genuine emotion. Hope. Hour 71. Rescue ships cut through the dome as the 4 survivors huddled together, barely alive. Medical teams found them breathing. Impossible odds, 17% become 100 through sheer refusal to die. In the medbay afterward, Thalassa's bioluminescence blazed stronger than ever. Crone's cracks were healing into silver scars he called marks of wisdom. Velix Prime struggled to explain hope to their people. They had no words for it in Etherean language. Marcus woke to find all 3 aliens at his bedside.
You taught us something.
Kron rumbled.
Humans aren't built to last because of your bodies. You're built to last because you refuse to stop.
Marcus smiled, his first genuine smile in years.
That's all we've ever had. Stubbornness and each other.